Hey guys, welcome back to another session of Tech Talk. Today we really want to get into the different types of replacements. Manufactured homes, residential homes, full ductwork changeouts. Really give you guys some tools to better equip you to make you more successful in talking to the customer, getting them better prepared for what to expect when the comfort advisor goes out there. This may prompt a lot of questions from the customer, but that's okay. You might not have all the answers though to give them, and frankly that's okay too. And Jeff, really, what are some good ways of guiding the conversation with the customer when they're asking questions that you may not know the answer to?
Well, there's something we've been saying for a while at Tri-County, and you guys may have heard it out there, but it's we don't want to tell the customer what we can't do. We want to focus on what we can do. And that's super important. We can take time to break that down and help the customer understand why it is that we're giving them the suggestion we're giving them without spending a lot of time saying no. No is one of those words that stops conversations, it stops communication, and it's hard to recover from that. So instead, if you just focus on, they've asked a question, what can I tell them? Focus on that and move past it. You're going to be in a lot better place. Some of the questions they'll ask, or one of the major questions they'll ask is price. What is price going to look like? And because there's so many design things that happen within that question, which I think we're going to break down a little bit more in this video, that's a very hard question to answer. So what you can say is, here's what I can tell you, and Matt, can you tell us a little bit about what that looks like? What are some of those things that you can tell them, since we can't really talk about price too much?
Jeff, and you're right in terms of here this customer is asking something, and we always want to be of the mind frame that says, yes, happy to do that, we can do that. But I'm going to tell you that it's a little, it can be a little tricky. So, the things that we need to look at and consider before a price can be given, if it's let's just say like a split system, we just got to really look at the application. Is this in a condo? Is this on a 10-floor condo? Is this on a house? Is this things like that? If it's in an attic, the application of it, just certain things, the duct system, stuff like that can really determine on the price. We can kind of get into a little bit more of that, but the short answer is this: we really can't, because every home is unique and different from the next one. A lot of times we'll hear that and see that where we'll talk to a customer and they'll say, well, my brother just got a unit from so-and-so or whoever for a whole lot less. And then we're going to ask questions because we know it's not apples for apples. So every home is different and unique. And that's what really is moving the price on the customer. It's like custom cabinets in a kitchen. They're going to vary differently between homes.
Yeah. Sure, but there are some things we can say, right?
Yeah, for sure. We can talk about manufactured home, but let me take a step back real quick. Matt, I would say when we're talking about price with the customer, when they ask that question, we definitely don't want to give a figure. And that's important because say you come in too low and we send our comfort advisor out there. We trust our comfort advisors. They're great guys. They hold our values, and they talk to the customer. Hey, what do you think about efficiency? What do you think about indoor air quality? So then maybe the tech, when he was out there, said, oh, hey, it's only going to be $4,500 or $5,000. And then listening to the customer's needs about what they want for their comfort design, they come in at $8,000, $8,500, $10,000. Now that customer, although they've been a customer with us for a long time, they have two different numbers in their head, and we're undercutting ourselves and really throwing us off.
We are, Seth, and so that's a great point. I cannot tell you as far as our technicians how much they help us when we go out there. Your word carries so much weight. The more you can prep that customer, it helps us so much. There have been a few times where a ballpark or a figure was thrown out, and when we show up, we're not only fighting against the competition and everything else, now we're fighting against what now the customer has in their mind where they think the project should be. So as we go out there, comfort advisors, and we're asking questions, the project is getting bigger, and the whole time the customer is thinking that it sounds great because it's only going to be in that amount when we're out of reality at that point. So you're right. You don't want to give a price. Okay, we need to leave that to the skilled person who's going to ask all the questions and get it dialed in. That's really what we're looking for.
Yeah. So now let's get a little bit more specific for the guys. Let's talk about manufactured homes. Now there's a couple different manufactured homes out there. Some of them are bigger than my house now. A lot of the newer homes will have ductwork within the ceiling. So guys, if you see vents that are up in the ceiling, that's ductwork that generally we can't get to. It's there when it was built, and that's what's gonna stay. We will just connect to the risers underneath, but they will have ductwork running underneath the house, supply and return ductwork that has been out in the elements that will generally need to be addressed. Now the other type, if you have an older mobile home that might have floor ductwork, could either be a metal trunk line that we can't access, that's underneath the vapor barrier, or they might have a spider system. So you really got three different duct designs on a manufactured home, some that we can't touch and some that we can. But Matt, let's go through the manufactured home and what are some key points that one of the guys can look at and really show that to the customer to build value and get the customer prepared to address that when a comfort advisor goes out.
Yeah, absolutely, Seth. It's when it comes time for that our customer to get a new AC, and I would say it's very easy, it's very natural to just put all the attention on the equipment, and there's options out there, and that is a big decision. But where I think Tri-County, because of our core values and how we care, and we are here for the commitment of the long term for that customer, is we got to look past the equipment. So you brought up ductwork. That is what I'm going to say is probably the biggest thing. Our guys need to really be looking at that ductwork. I'm going to tell you that it's industry standard that when you have a package unit on a manufactured home, that you replace those ducts underneath the home whenever you're getting a new unit, because as you said, those ducts are outside in the elements. I mean, there's critters, there's there could be rabbits and whatever chewing on that stuff that nobody knows about. I mean, how often are they or anybody go underneath that home? So the condition of it, also the sizing of it. So I'm going to say rarely when we go to replace equipment, both of those, the right size and in good condition. So, if you could help us by, just at least bringing that up and discussing that with our customers, saying, hey, look, we usually do this. Another one is thermostat wire. I mean, so, that's something that could be done at little cost while we're there putting in the equipment and doing the duct work to protect that customer for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars just 4 years down the road, when us or some other company has to do this at 3 o'clock. And
it always poses the question of why did they not do that on sale?
And you guys are saying because of rabbits, right? That's what we're worried about? The rabbits,
well,
right?
You laugh, Jeff, but rabbits, there's something in the thermostat wire that has a soybean scent to it.
Yeah.
So rabbits will go after that thermostat wire.
But Matt, that actually, when I'm hearing communication with people, that's a great thing to bring up to a customer, because if that is not going to make them laugh a little bit, I don't know what will. You tell them, the scariest thing you got under your home, Mrs. Smith,
is a bunny,
is a rabbit, a little bunny. And then you explain to them why. You get to not just be the guy who's having a conversation and making them laugh, but you get to be the guy who's explaining to them that you know things that they may not.
Yeah.
So you're the expert, and you're also caring about them. So you guys remember that. You get an opportunity to talk about those scary little bunnies.
Yeah.
Make sure you do it.
So just to recap with manufactured homes, talk about thermostat wire, talk about ductwork. Doesn't mean you have to go underneath the house and see what that ductwork's there. We'll check it out when the comfort advisor's there. But just to lay the groundwork to the customer that, hey, we are going to be looking at this ductwork, and we're going to be talking about potentially replacing it, probably replacing it. So now with residential homes, that's kind of a different animal.
Yep.
Because there's so many different types of homes out there. so many different types of equipment that can be installed, and depending on the needs, the comfort needs of the customer, we can vary in efficiency and different product designs. So Matt, let's kind of unpack this a little bit of what are some things that the guys can look at when talking about replacement of a residential system.
Yeah, good point, Seth. You had mentioned, we just spoke about package units on manufactured homes, and there's options and things to look at. When we get into the realm of split systems, the probability and the options grow by probably 5 times. So, and that doesn't mean that every job is going to be that much more complicated. It just means that there's just a lot more to look at. So some of the things to look at, again, I would say ductwork is probably the number one thing to look at. The condition of it, the size of it, how it's set up, the application of it. There are times when that air handler is in the attic and it really shouldn't be in there. We should be talking about, like, this is a great time to get that out of the attic. There are times that the condensation drain line. I mean, we should be looking for, if we have a customer that has had 1 or 2 or 3 or more problems on the condensation drain line, this is the time to let's fix that problem.
Definitely.
Let's run a new one, especially if that condensation drain line is under the foundation or the slab or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Gotta get it out of there.
That plagues us on our problems.
For sure.
Thermostat wire can be another one. The base, how that air handler sits on there. And Seth, I'm going to say this is really big that our comfort advisors are looking at, that inside the home, the return surface area is critical. That means this: I can have the right size unit, right size ductwork, but at the very end of that, if I have a too small of a return surface area, I have limited everything, and there will be consequences to that. So we need to look at that, and it's got to be all within specifications.
Yeah, the point of airflow starts where it's going to draw air from the home. And if you have a filter back grill, that's even more important, because that filter is now restricting the air from the grill all the way back to the equipment. So it is very important, guys, that all these new equipment, they require more volume of air. The design, the forward curve of a blower wheel is not designed to pull air. It just isn't. So it doesn't want to see that restriction from grills that are too small, ductwork that's undersized. You are setting that equipment up for failure if we undersize the return duct, because we'll never be able to push enough air into the supply. Another thing you guys want to mention is, depending on what equipment they go with, if it's 2-stage variable speed, we want to make sure that ductwork is strapped up and we have the right type of ductwork. So Matt, what are some ductwork types that may not be ideal for the customer to hold on to when moving to their new piece of equipment?
Yeah, that is so important, Seth. So for our comfort advisors, when we go out to somebody's homes, the things that we're really like keeping an eye out for on the ductwork. First off, there's a time period back in the 80s where a lot of the contractors installed this gray flex. It has since been outlawed. They can't put it in anymore, but most of you know what this is. It's a flexible duct that has that gray outer lining, and that just gets dry and brittle, and it will like disintegrate. And so when that does that, the insulation unfolds like a bun on a hot dog, and the inner liner now begins to sweat and condensate. So gray flex, even if you look at it and it's in good shape, kind of like it's not deteriorating already, which I would be surprised, there still needs to be a mention to the customer. Most times what you're going to find is, if you got up into that attic, you would find places where you could take pictures to say, hey, this ductwork will need to be replaced at some point. It's already starting to deteriorate, and here's some pictures. So, therefore, when my comfort advisor comes out there and he brings it up, it just affirms that. So that's one type. Metal ductwork is another. So, we have to look at that. I mean, if it is a metal duct system that is in great shape, there's no condensation, stains, it is off the trusses and it's up, no one's bumped into it, hey, there are cases where we could reuse that. But the majority, there's something going on. Another one is the ductboard trunk lines that you see. Not a whole lot, but I mean, over the years, somebody has placed something on there. Somebody stepped on it and crushed it. Well, I have seen countless many times where at the way back, there's a big old hole in there and it's just gaping out air. So we got our eyes open for those type of things.
And really, to identify these needs to replace ductwork, it's really there for the customer's benefit. It's not to make more money, although we're gonna give a competitive bid, but we're really there to set up just to help the customer understand, hey, you are purchasing this brand new piece of equipment. You're going to have a lot of trust in Tri-County and whatever manufacturer you go with, but it needs to reconnect to something that is going to perform equal to what their equipment's going to perform. Right. So we don't want junk ductwork that's going to fail a couple years down the road, because the customer is not going to have the confidence in their manufacturer of their equipment, although it's two separate. A lot of the times they tie it together, but then also they're going to ask why Tri-County didn't educate them at the time of sale or before the time of sale when the technician was out there on why this could have been addressed at the time of install, not 3-4 years down the road. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, the best time for a customer to address ductwork is during the replacement of their equipment, correct?
That's right. And not only that, Seth, I mean, this is always a good time for the comfort advisor to bring up to the inadequacies of the existing duct system. So they may have lived with a warm room for the last 8 years.
Yeah,
whatever
always that back bedroom,
yeah.
Furthest run always seems to get hot. So they'll even take that into consideration when designing the duct system for the customer?
Yes, absolutely. Our guys are asking those questions. We are really, in a sense, trying to get our customer ready for the next 10 years or so. We want it done right. And Seth, I'll tell you, this is a huge topic. We could probably spend a lot more time on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, this video hopefully has prompted some questions, raised some flags, made you guys think a little bit about ductwork or system design. We want to drive our video content based off of what you guys want to see. We don't want to be producing any type of video that is not helpful to you. So we're going to require some of your feedback. So whether it be to Matt or myself or to Jeff in a phone call, text, or an email, we would really appreciate if you guys take the time to give us some feedback, give us some topics that we can talk about, because we're really here to help you. With COVID going on, we can't bring everybody in for meetings or training, and we can't do it multiple times. Yeah, not as often as we want. But these videos we can have out onto the tablet to where it lives there constantly. So guys, really your feedback is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, Seth, I mean, it's to that real quick. It's guys, if you have questions, if you're out there and you see something, just write it down, put it in a text, send it to Seth, whatever. We will compile those questions. Obviously, if you need a question and answer right away, we'll get that to you. But it would be great to put this up in our next session, and to just say, hey, these are the questions that came in. We'd like to talk about that so everybody can hear that. But looking forward to your input, guys.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye.